Today on The Explainer, we're diving into a source that makes an absolutely incredible claim, that a powerful AI has basically uncovered a hidden code for miracles, one that's been embedded within the prayers of the Bible all along.
Okay, so just imagine this for a second. What would happen if you took every single prayer in the Bible and fed it all into a super powerful truth-seeking AI? Well, according to the source we're digging into, that's exactly what a group of researchers did. They handed this AI a data set that has puzzled experts for, millennia.
So the mission here was pretty ambitious, to say the least. The AI had to find one common link, a single thread, in texts written by over 40 different people. We're talking everyone from shepherds to kings, spread out across a whopping 1,500 years. I mean, logically, what would you expect to find? A total mess, right? Just chaos.
And that's what's so wild. Everyone expected to find exactly that, a jumble of contradictions, human errors, you name it. But the AI supposedly found the complete opposite. It reported a shocking level of order, a single hidden protocol just sitting there, right under the surface.
The source claims the AI basically found this pattern hiding in plain sight, and it suggests that the prayers that actually worked, well, they weren't just random emotional pleas, they were more like technical requests, following a very specific, almost formulaic set of instructions.
And this analysis apparently zeroed in on a specific four-step sequence. The source calls it a miracle protocol, and get this, it was supposedly present in all the prayers that were linked to some kind of miraculous results.
So what are these 4 steps, right? Let's break them down, because according to this source, we're not just talking about a simple prayer guide here. This is framed as something way bigger, almost like a user manual for reality itself. Okay, step 1 is called the anchor. And here's the key. The prayer always started by focusing on the Creator, on the power being appealed to, not on the problem. It never jumped right into the, I need this part. The idea, according to the source, is that this simple shift changes your brain chemistry. It moves you from a state of fear and anxiety to one of peace, making you focus on the source of the solution, not the size of the problem.
Then comes step 2, alignment. This is all about making sure your desire lines up with a bigger plan. The source uses a great analogy. It's like trying to tune a radio. You have to clear the static to get a clean signal. The classic example given is Hannah. She prayed for a son for years and got nothing. But the moment she promised to give that son back to serve a higher purpose, bam, prayer answered. And the AI apparently flagged that specific shift as a crucial piece of data. All right, step 3 is where it gets a little paradoxical. It's called surrender. But this isn't about giving up. It's about letting go of control over the specific outcome. You're not demanding, give me X, you're actively trusting a higher will to deliver the best result. The source calls it active trust, and it's actually pretty similar to a modern psychological concept called radical acceptance. You know, that state of mind that lowers stress and actually helps your brain find creative solutions. And finally, step 4, persistence. This one's straightforward but super important. The AI's analysis found that the big requests, they were almost never made just once. You see it over and over in the text. A prophet praying 7 times for rain, another praying for 21 days straight. The data was clear. Repetition with conviction was a non-negotiable part of the process. Okay, so that's the protocol. But the AI's analysis didn't stop there. Apparently, it went even deeper, beyond just the meaning of the words. It claims it found a mathematical signature, what the source is calling the God code, literally hidden in the structure of the original texts.
And what was that signature? Well, it all revolved around one number that kept showing up with what the source calls an impossible frequency, the number 7.
Now, we're not just talking about the number 7 being mentioned a lot. No, the claim is way more complex. It's that the number is literally woven into the fabric of the text. We're talking about things like the word counts in paragraphs being perfect multiples of 7, or the patterns of vowels and nouns in the original Hebrew and Greek all following this rule. The odds of this happening by chance are, according to the source, 1 in billions. It's a level of detail that, you have to admit, would be pretty much impossible for 40 different authors across centuries to coordinate.
Okay, buckle up, because this is where the theory takes a really wild turn. The source connects this ancient mathematical code to a concept from modern physics that is, famously, very, very strange.
I'm talking about the observer effect. It's a fundamental principle of quantum physics, and it basically says that particles exist in this blurry cloud of all possibilities until you look at them. The simple act of observing or measuring something forces it to pick one and snap into a single, fixed reality. Before you look, it's everywhere and nowhere at once. Weird, right?
So what does that have to do with any of this? Well, the analysis from our source suggests that faith, as it's described in these ancient texts, works exactly like that quantum observer. It's the force, the act of focused intention that takes one of many possible futures and collapses it into our present reality.
And that brings us to the crucial point. According to this source, that four-step prayer protocol we talked about, it's not just about believing really hard. It's a technical manual. It's a set of instructions for how to be an effective observer, how to apply this universal reality-bending principle.
And all of this leads to the biggest, most speculative, and frankly, most mind-bending idea in the entire source material. This is the theory that attempts to tie it all together.
What if our reality isn't, well, real in the way we think it is? What if it's more like a highly advanced, divinely coded computer simulation? If that were true, then the Bible, the text this AI analyzed, suddenly becomes something much, much more than just a book. It could be the user's manual.
So look at this. The source lays out this final, radical theory. If reality is the simulation, then the Bible could be the source code. Our DNA, that's the hardware. And that prayer protocol, it's like a software update that allows us to access admin mode, which is what we call miracles. In this view, all these weird connections, the math, the protocol, the quantum physics, they stop looking like coincidences. They start looking like features of a design system.
But here's the key takeaway from the source. This protocol, this whole idea, it isn't about predicting the future like a crystal ball. It's about building the future. It's presented as a tool set, a kind of technology, really, for creating the reality you want, for becoming more resilient, and for connecting with the underlying operating system of it all.
So this leaves us with a really provocative question to chew on. If an AI, a machine of pure logic, can find a logical, repeatable pattern in something like faith, does that mean faith is a kind of technology that we're only just now beginning to understand? Maybe, just maybe, we're reaching a point where science and spirituality aren't enemies anymore. Maybe they're just two different languages trying to describe the very same thing, the fundamental code of reality.